God is good, and each day that passes brings us one day closer to the launch of Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. Wait, that's not this show? Okay, and take two. Hey, how's it going, guys? Resum here today with Pantheon Plus. Crap! Take three. Hey, guys, how's it going? Rez here with the Baz Flash. Dang it! Alright, take four. Hey, guys, how's it going today? Resum here with Standing in Fire. Shit. Okay, take five. No pressure. Hey, what's going on, guys? Resum After Sex here with the Voices of Terminus. While they're on break, they made the mistake of giving me access to their show where I can talk about, well, anything I want to that's Pantheon Rise of the Fallen related. And I want to talk about a subject that is near and dear to my heart, and that's character progression and diversity. Roll the intro! As we all know, Pantheon Rise of the Fallen is being developed by VR, and it is not your this day and age MMO. People may be worried that there is going to be no real class diversity since there are no class specialties. So I wanted to sit down for a minute today and talk about a few different builds that you can have in Pantheon Rise of the Fallen by class, starting out with the Warrior. As I go through these builds, they're only going to have a certain number of abilities attached to them, because we all know that you can only have 12 slotted on any given character, so I picked 8 that I really like per build, leaving 4 for fillers depending on an individual's playstyle. But starting out with the Warrior, you're going to have that main tank go first. Primary stat you're going to be looking at is going to be Constitution. Having that big old health pool is going to be absolutely essential when it comes to taking damage. Secondary stat, Agility. Increasing that AC is going to be an absolute must. First ability, Taunt. I mean, come on, that's a given. It's obvious. Every tank needs to have a taunt in order to hold that aggro to keep them off the other party members. Second ability I went with is going to be Shield Block. Now this one has the character raise its shield to dramatically reduce physical damage you receive for 2 seconds. When you use this, I mean, think of the damage that you can negate as a main tank using your shield block. If you time it perfectly, when an enemy mob uses their big spell or ability, you can negate so much damage, which allows that healer to not have to play catch up for you as a main tank. Third ability that I liked, Angering Blow. That's where you strike your enemy in a provoking manner, making them angry. Obviously another taunt ability. And then, I kind of want to go into banners. That Challenger's banner, I absolutely love it for the group. Increasing that resource generation, not just for yourself, but for other melee classes in your group. It causes your resilience to replenish automatically at an increased rate, allowing you to take less damage. Absolute staple for any tank build. And for the enemies, it makes you generate even more hate, keeping that aggro on you at all times. And then, when you don't want to put that one down, I think Shieldman's banner is going to be an absolute awesome ability to have for any main tank. The nice thing is it increases the damage reduction of your shield blocking abilities, so you can even negate more damage than you originally would. There may be some people that think that the banner of Onslaught would be better for this situation to increase the group's damage. Yeah, that's great, but if you've ever competed as a tank with a rogue, or a wizard, or any other DPS class, where they're critting all the time and doing so much damage, all you really have is your taunt. So if you can negate some of that damage away from you, I think that would be more essential than you actually increasing the damage of your group. Moving on, we got Rageful Shout. This is where you unleash a rage-filled shout allowing you to use taunt without any cooldowns. So if you ever lose aggro for any reason, pop this ability real quick and just taunt, 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 and be able to pull that aggro right back to you. I mean, it's a given that when you're a tank, you're going to lose aggro at times, but that's why it's so essential that you have abilities like Rageful Shout in your hotbar, so you can gain that back just as quickly as you lost it. Next ability I'm going with is Storm. This is where you charge an enemy with furious speed, stunning them briefly. It's a great opener because you get one battle point, and battle points are what you're going to use as a warrior to use these other skills and abilities in your favor. The 8th and last one, I like the Will to Live. A Will to Live surges through you, increasing your dodge and parry chance, granting a bonus to healing effects. I mean, this is awesome when you come up to that main mob and you want to really negate as much damage. So you're dodging, you're parrying, you're increasing your block rate, you have your block spell that you can use, you have all these aggros and all these taunts. I mean, you're going to be an absolute powerhouse. It also gives you time to gain more aggro while negating damage before the melee unleashes their onslaught of DPS damage. But DPSs out there, please give the tanks in Pantheon time to get aggro before you actually go in and assist. The second build that I'm going with is a mobility tank, one that can off-tank just as well as it main tanks. It uses charges, it uses leaps, it uses taunts in order to build up battle points. But this type of tank build would rather avoid damage altogether than take it head on like a main tank or meat shield would. The primary stat for this build is going to be agility. Increasing that AC and increasing that dodge and parry rate is going to be the bloodline for this build. Secondary stats I chose are constitution and dexterity. Even though you're not taking a hit head on, when you do, it's nice to have a deep health pool. But having dexterity, historically, has helped with riposte, which is an essential skill that you use to return damage while reducing damage to yourself. So that's going to be an absolute staple for this build, mobility and agility. The primary opener to any warrior, I think, is going to be Storm. That's where you charge at your enemy with ferocious speed, stunning them briefly, but the thing is, you can only do this out of combat. So it's kind of that initiator, it's that opener. And it grants you one battle point. And that's an absolute essential thing for the warriors to build up these resources that you use to capitalize on other skills. The second ability I chose is Close the Gap. This is where you leap at your enemy's location, only usable in combat. So this would be a great complementary system to the Druid or any DPS or support that has a push-pull function with their ability. So you push them away, you can leap back in. Best part is, you gain another battle point that way. And with the Druid, you have Herod's Escape, where Herod pulls you back to the tree. So imagine if you storm in first, gain a battle point, Herod pulls you back to the tree, you leap back in at the mob, and now you have 2 battle points right off the bat. The third ability that I chose is Strike of Breaking. It's a well-placed strike that lowers the enemy's AC. Since you aren't this all-out meat shield, taking that enemy down as quick as possible, it's going to be key in your battle. Also, it grants you 1 battle point. So imagine if you storm, you're able to leap, and then you do Strike of Breaking, you have 3 battle points at this point in time. The fourth ability is War Hero. This is where you rush to the location of a group member and pull hate off of them. This is great for doing a switch in battle. So if somebody else is initiating and you want to pull that off of them for a bit, you use War of Hero to do that switch between a primary tank and a secondary tank. The 5th ability is the Will to Live. This right here is going to be your bread and butter. It increases your dodge and parry rate, granting you a bonus to healing effects as well, and it uses battle points. So you have already built up 3 with Storm, Leap, and Strike of Breaking. Depending on the recast time of Will to Live, this is something that you want to have up as much as possible with this build, because you will be untouchable. The 6th one is going to be a War Banner, the Banner of Onslaught. With the group, it improves the critical strike chance and damage done by melee attacks. If you have a lot of casters in the group, this is great because it'll help you hold aggro better because you're the only one doing melee damage. So you're doing more damage plus your taunts, holding aggro better. This is also great if you have rogues and rangers in your group because everybody's doing that much more damage and you can drop that mob quicker and effectively. The 7th ability is going to be a battle cry. It's called Howl of the Warrior. So after you perform a critical strike, you unleash a booming howl that generates your next attack to be an automatic critical strike. So you have your Banner of Onslaught, which increases your critical strike chance, plus your dexterity, plus this Howl of the Warrior, so it's like back-to-back critical strikes. Absolutely awesome. And then 8th, you're a tank, so you gotta have that taunt, and you gotta have that Rageful Shout. Both ways to assist you in holding that aggro, which every single tank needs to do. The third and final build is an offensive tank that gives good support to the group. You can have the abilities of peeling off of healers and casters and melee and bringing them back to the main tank if they're already occupied. So the primary stat is actually going to be strength, increasing that base damage, as crits are going to be increased through some of the suggested abilities that I have. Your secondary stats, however, are going to be agility and constitution, increasing that AC, increasing that health pool for those situations when you gotta peel off one of your teammates and bring that mob to the main tank. The first ability is going to be Shield Slam. This is where you slam your shield into your enemy, and the great thing is you get 1 battle point for doing this. There is nothing better than being able to stun an enemy mob in a supportive role. It just really helps turn the tide of the battle, and doing this right off the bat is absolutely awesome. The second ability is Strike of Breaking. This is the ability that lowers the mob's AC and grants you a battle point. The third ability I chose is the Banner of Onslaught. This is the one that improves the critical strike chance and melee damage of all the melee individuals in your group. And a great compliment after you've lowered the mob's AC to get that chance of hitting that crit. Burn that mob down as quick as possible. Absolutely great for any supportive role. The fourth ability is Will to Live. When you do have to peel a mob off the healer or casters, popping this ability is going to be absolutely essential to avoid taking too much damage as a supportive tank. The fifth ability is going to be Battering Ram. This is where you summon your immense physical strength and rush forward, breaking through certain barriers in the environment. Since your primary attribute point is strength, it makes perfect sense for you to have this on your hotbar where you can access certain parts of dungeons where meat shields or avoidance tanks may not be able to get into until a later period of time. Since you are a support tank, the sixth ability I picked is a war banner named Rallying Banner. What it does for the group is it reduces the duration of controlled effects afflicting your team members, but on enemies it actually increases the duration of control effects. So if you have an enchanter in the group and he mezzes a mob that's outside of your group's range, you as a support tank could go over there, lay down a Rallying Banner, and that mez would last for a longer period of time. The seventh ability is going to be War Hero. This is where you rush to the location of a group member to rescue them from immediate danger. This is great for peeling mobs off a healer or a caster in the back row, and it gives you the opportunity to bring it to your main tank to where he can sustain aggro on that mob going forward. And the last ability, you're a tank, so you gotta be able to taunt still. Warriors, even if they're support or they're doing more damage than your meat shield tanks, they still need to be able to taunt to be able to control the battlefield. Well guys, I hope everybody really liked this video. I'm going to be doing more tank builds coming up. Next is going to be the Paladin, after that the Dire Lord. So if you like this, shield bash that like button in the face and subscribe, and hope I see y'all next time. Peace!